Good morning. That's Harold Hay. He walked into my office at Cal Poly about 15 years ago, wearing mixed-matched plaid pants and jacket, and said, "Can I come in and talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Certainly." Well, we had a 2-hour conversation, at which time I never said a word, and learned to appreciate this marvelous gentleman beyond anything I can say. He's just an amazing man. And we had many conversations of that nature over the years, and I don't think he ever repeated himself once. He became an immediate friend. He was a chemist, had done some amazing work in that field, but became known mostly because of his research into solar energy and the development of a building called Skytherm House, which was built at Cal Poly, which was totally off-grid and consumed no energy at all in an area where the temperature would go well above 120 in the summer and go below freezing in the winter. And everything was worked with solar energy and using not one bit of fossil fuel. And that became a quest for him. And he earned from the Congress an award as the most energy efficient building that was built in America. He was articulate, funny, angry, frustrated, everything you could picture in someone who was at an early point trying to make this country free of fossil fuel use. He is also charming. At that time, he was an octogenarian, and invited him to my home for Thanksgiving. My mother, who was alive then also, in her 80s, was tiny, never weighed more than 100 pounds. Harold was about 6'3" and of enormous stature, and he came into the house, and he took my mother's hand, and he said, "Why, my dear, you're hardly out of diapers." She blushed like a teenager, and they became good friends also. Harold lived in a 2-room apartment for over 40 years. He actually became an extraordinarily wise investor and amassed his small fortune through the stock market. And he gave away virtually everything. He supported many schools around the country. He became resident instructors, visiting teacher, and carried his message everywhere. In my first year at New School, I had him come to the program and be the speaker at graduation. He came 2 days earlier, and the students were just enthralled with him and his nature of just sitting and talking to them and listening to them, never me, but listening to them. And it was, the continuation of a love affair. He passed away shortly before his 101st birthday, and in the last few months, we spent a lot of time together. He continued his largesse after his demise, and part of his contribution was to ANFA, a new organization who had come to appreciate very much, especially bringing together the disciplines with the idea towards what the future could be with people from the sciences and from the building arts working together to make not only his ideas become reality, but to look beyond that, because although he was very proud of what he had done, he knew that so much more could happen. So I'm here to thank him in front of you all for his gift to ANFA of $500,000 to get us started with what you'll hear about from John Zeisel now. Thank you.
So what I'm going to do is tell you about the research grant that the board, the research subcommittee and the board has put together in response to the gift from Harold Hay. But first, I would like to do 2 things. I'd like to talk about the president, and I'd like to talk about the brain. I always bring my brain with me. And since And there's one I was in the whirlpool last night working on my brain so I could sleep well, and people were saying this is an amazingly well-organized conference for the first conference of an organization. And there's been one person who's been making everybody stand up and giving special acknowledgments, and she's been thanking everybody. And the person who is the brain behind this conference is our president, Alison Whitelaw, and I think we should all thank her for this. Stand up, stand up. And I think your modesty in all of that you've done has really shown in the quality of this conference, so thank you. So on that note, I'm going to tell you what the purpose of the Harold Hay Research Program is, and how much money we're going to give out, and how you're going to apply. And again, this is a sort of a consensus document of the entire board, everybody of whom you've seen or will be seeing giving talks or having talked. And they are also going to be the group that's going to give out the money and review the proposals, so listen to them carefully. And, but there's no favoritism, so that doesn't help. The purpose of ANFA's Hay Grant Research Program is to encourage neuroscience, architecture, cross-disciplinary research that contributes to a body of knowledge informing building design, incorporating principles derived from neuroscience research. All of this, by the way, is now on the ANFA website, which is www.anfarch.org. And so, maybe not quite there yet, but not quite there yet, but by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, you will. So I'll repeat that once. The purpose is to encourage neuroscience architecture, cross-disciplinary research that contributes to a body of knowledge informing building design, incorporating principles derived from neuroscience research. The types of research that we're looking for are research proposals that relate to design attributes and setting studies, non-laboratory research into the human cognitive responses associated with particular design variables, light, acoustics, as well as building types like schools, offices, prisons, whatever. Second, human response studies, non-laboratory research, again, that develops neuroscience understanding of human responses to the built environment through such phenomena as territoriality, privacy, and productivity. Fundamental concept studies, now this is animal research, laboratory research employing animals and animal models into fundamental neuroscience and design concepts such as territoriality, perception, etc. These would include studies with rats, mice, and not us, most of us. Fundamental concept studies on the human subjects, laboratory research employing human subjects in studies of neuroscience and design concepts, again, such as territoriality, perception, and again, employing biosensors, computational techniques, imaging, so more in the neuroscience, and then design process studies, recording analysis and assessment of neuroarchitecture design processes. Any organization can apply. It doesn't have to be for-profit, not-for-profit, academic, not academic. They can be research firms, architecture firms. An important part of this is that the proposed research team must be cross-disciplinary, including at least one neuroscience and one architect. Other disciplines may be proposed as part of the research team as required. This year, and in the foreseeable future, we'll be giving out two types of grants: feasibility studies and pilot study grants. The feasibility studies are to test and determine the worth for future investment of funds and time, not necessarily our future investment, but government funds or other granting agencies, of well-developed, evidence-based, preliminary neuroscience architecture hypotheses. And it expected that such feasibility studies, if successful, will serve as the basis of future proposals submitted to other funding organizations. And the second are pilot studies, which are to test research design methods and analysis plans of a well-defined, evidence-based neuroscience architecture problem. It is expected that the results of such studies will serve again as support for and be included in future full-blown studies. So it's really to get the ball rolling in many ways. Two things. One is, I'd just like to say, a lot of what we've been hearing today and a lot of the posters and a lot of the presentations are the kinds of topics we're talking about. So it's very heartening, I think, to all of us and to the whole board who has put this research proposal together to see that the ideas are out there. So now turning those into what Rusty Gage described as good research, good proposals, good experimentation is what we're looking for. One criteria which we'll also be using is the likelihood of publication in a refereed journal. So it's important to us that we not only get a research project that is a scholarly article that sits on a shelf, but that really is out there for people to see. So now I'll tell you how much money we're going to give you, or those of you who apply. I will not ask how many of you are going to, because too many hands will go up. I would like to say one thing, however, before I tell the amount of money. The entire proposal is going to be 2 pages. We are not looking for 50 pages, we're not looking for 10 pages, and if you send 3, we're not going to accept it. And up to 3 pages of PowerPoint examples or illustrations. We're really looking for concise kernels of proposals and research ideas that can be turned into to research. We will be giving $50,000 a year of research. Hopefully, with investments in the funds we've gotten, this will go on almost forever. And it will be, I just want to read that one statement. Each grant will be a maximum of 1 year. The maximum annual grant funding for each year will be $50,000 for either 1 or 2 research projects at our discretion. Decisions related to amount and number of grants up to $50,000 will be at the discretion of this grants committee, which is the entire board. So on that note, we'll continue today, and all of this will be available shortly on the ANFA website. And we welcome you not only to look at it and apply, but also to tell all of your academic institutions to look at it, all of your private institutions, and also to start looking for your partners, because we really are looking for partners. And this morning, Gil and I were talking about the success of our president's brain behind this conference, and Gil was saying, look at all the neuroscientists talking to the architects. Keep talking and find each other, because that's going to be one of the major bases of awarding these research grants. So thank you very much. Wait. Yes, I'll give you a date. Sorry, then you can clap. Okay. So the dates are that we're announcing it today. Hang on. I think I have the dates. I know I have the dates. We're announcing it today. Applications will be available tomorrow. We want submissions to be made by December 15th. So the final date will be between now and December 15th. The committee will review the proposals between the 1st and end of January, and the announcements of the awards will be made on the 1st of February. I would like to say that I count the things I do every day. Yeah, Galen.
How do you define architect? You have to be practicing, or just a professor of, or what?
You just apply, and everybody, don't worry, no, it's a broad net we're trying to have. So, you know, you qualify. But you might also include some practicing architects. I mean, we're looking at teams to do this. And again, the stronger it is with practicing architects and architecture professors, the stronger it'll be. We're looking to create teams, not only to have a little research done. There was another question? Yes?
Yeah, I think this is just a fabulous way of attracting productive interest that can be organized beautifully, but I think there might be an augmenting process that would be helpful.
You can hand it to him if you want. I know he has a good voice, but it won't be recorded.
Thank you. There might be an augmenting process that would also enrich it, because some of us probably will not organize a grant application but have ideas, and this could be an opportunity to distribute them. So for those of us who, as architects or as teachers of cognitive science for architects or anything else that's relevant, perhaps there could be a way to submit ideas that could be a library of ideas that architects would like to see investigated by neuroscientists.
The entire board has just heard you, and I'm sure that suggestion will get heard and listened to. And I think the suggestions like yours, I think, are the right thing, because it's you and all of us together that's going to build this field, not the 6 people or 10 people on the board. So, yes, your suggestions, your ideas, and even the idea to do that is welcome. one more.
We could put something on the website, you know, following up on that idea. We can just put something on the website as potential ideas for future
For research.
Right?
So as you can see, we've already picked up on that. Tom, I think it's time for me to step down, and Gil's going to introduce Tom. I just want to say, this is the first time in my entire life, and I count the first, that I've been able to give away money. I think it's really exciting, so thank you very much.